Hi, I'm J.Lowe, and today I'll be guiding you through a balanced vinyasa yoga practice. So there's a little bit of everything: forward bends, back bends, twists, standing postures, working on strength and flexibility. And the peak posture for today will be birds of paradise. So there's going to be a little bit more emphasis on opening up the shoulders, the hips, and strengthening the legs and feet for the balance. And for class today, I've got a strap here. If you don't have a strap, you can use a dish towel, a scarf, a belt, tie, whatever you have handy, just to give you a little bit more space if your shoulders are a little bit tighter. And then I also have a block here. If you don't have a block, you can use a really big book or a really firm pillow. We're not using it for anything too intense today. Just want to use it to give you a little bit of extra space. Yeah, if you don't have the props, no worries. Just do your best. And as always, feel free to modify anytime during practice. We'll get started in a comfortable seated position. So just with one foot in front, let your hands rest down onto your knees. Let your eyes close as you begin to settle in. And feel the inhale breath travel all the way down into the bottom of your belly. Let your belly relax. Even the sides of the waist and low back soften. And on the exhale, lightly squeeze through the abdominal muscles to press the breath up and out. And if you have Ujjayi in your practice, you might begin to drop into that Ujjayi breath. Gently constrict the back of your throat. Breathing in, not through the nose. Take about 2 more breaths here, feeling the whole belly and pelvis soften and widen as you inhale. And then squeezing everything together and upwards to press the breath out. On your next inhale breath, scoop your chest forward and up. Let your belly feel soft once again. Exhale, press the breath out and round the spine. Inhale, pull the heart forward and up. Exhale, squeeze and round. That one more time. Linking your breath with your movement. And inhale, chest forward. This time as you exhale, spin your ribs over to one side and then back. And to the other side and forward, just making large circular motions with your spine, almost like you're stirring a big pot with your body. Let your head and your neck get involved just during this stretch and open up the neck. And then go in the opposite direction. Starting to bring more awareness to any areas that may be feeling a little bit stiff or tight today. Press the chest back. Inhale, float your arms up overhead. And exhale, bring one hand down to the floor and then side bend. And then open the top shoulder up towards the sky. And exhale, close your shoulder towards the floor. Starting to move the top arm and shoulder around, opening up to the side ribs and waist. So you've got the flexibility, you can bring the elbow down towards the floor. That's not necessary. You feel your hip lifting and come up a little bit higher. And then walk your hands out in front. And then let your hands crawl over to one side. I like to stay up on the fingertips. And then crawl the hands over to the other side. Just getting into the low back and hips a little. And then rise back up. Switch the cross of your legs. The other foot is in front. Might feel a little weird, that's okay. Inhale, float the arms up. And exhale, bring the other hand down towards the floor. So maybe you're just on the hand and opening and closing that top shoulder. Really reach through your fingertips. You're trying to create more space from the fingertips to that opposite hip. If it's available to you, maybe lower the elbow or the forearm to the floor. Just explore how the shoulder is feeling, how the side body is feeling. And walk your hands out in front. And just wave your hands over to one side. Breathe into the opposite hip. And walk your hands over to the other side. And then rise back up. And then we'll begin in downward facing dog. So plant your palms to the top of your mat. Walk the feet back. Start with your knees a little bit more bent as you begin to pedal out the legs. Really root down into your fingertips and into your knuckles, helping to take some pressure out of the wrists. And then begin to find some stillness here. So your hands are about shoulder width distance apart or a little bit wider, and your feet will be a little bit about hips width distance apart. Keep the knees soft as you lift up through your sitting bones. Inhale to bend your knees a little bit more. Exhale to push through your feet. Start to straighten the legs and lift the inner thighs up towards the pelvis. Lift your low belly into the spine and begin to curl forward, one vertebrae at a time, into your high plank. So this is the first one. You might have to adjust your hands or your feet a little bit. Make sure your shoulders are over your wrists. There's a straight line from head to heels. And then soften the elbows towards the back of the room a little bit, just about 1 inch. Exhale, push through your hands, straighten the arms, and start to lift up between your shoulder blades. Lift up to the middle back, lower back, tailbone, and let your heels soften towards the floor. So we're just shifting between plank and down dog, but really articulating the spine as you roll forward and back. We'll try it a few times. Inhale, soften the knees. Exhale, push to the feet and roll forward to plank. Inhale, soften your elbows. Exhale, push to the hands and roll back, downward facing dog. Inhale, soften the knees. Exhale, roll forward to plank. Inhale, soften the elbows. Exhale, roll back, downward facing dog. And gently walk your feet up towards your hands. Lift the feet about hips width distance apart, soften your knees, and just begin to sway the upper body side to side. Give and crawl your hands over to one side of your mat and then the other. Just letting your movements be really organic and free. Come back to center. Inhale, halfway lift. Hands up towards your shins and roll your shoulders back. Burst your heart forward. Keep the weight towards your toes so the front of your legs are working. Exhale, forward fold. So you can bend the knees any amount. Bring your belly and thighs to touch. Reach your arms out wide with a flat back. Inhale, rise up, mountain pose. Exhale, bring your hands to heart center. Press the breath out through your lower abdominals as you exhale. Inhale, pull the arms up overhead, mountain pose. Exhale, hands to heart center, fold. Inhale, halfway lift, lengthen through the sides of your neck. Exhale, forward fold. Relax your head at the bottom. Inhale, mountain pose. Exhale, hands to heart, press the breath out. We'll do that one more time. Inhale, mountain. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift, spread the sitting bones wide. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, mountain pose. Exhale, hands to heart, squeeze through the low belly. Inhale, mountain. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, high plank. In this high plank, turn your index fingers towards the front of the room. And feel the pointy part of your elbows spinning towards the back of your mat. You can modify a plank anytime with your knees on the ground. Lift up through your low belly. Press and lift up out of your shoulders. On your exhale breath, bend the elbows straight back and come down to the mat in one piece. Unzip your legs together. Press your pinky toenails into the floor so the inner thighs are sitting up. Exhale out your air and squeeze your belly. Inhale, raise your chest, no help from your hands, baby cobra. Squeeze your elbows in a little bit closer together. Lower your chin slightly, lengthen the back of your neck. Exhale, release your forehead down to the floor. Press your hips back to your heels, child's pose. You can widen your knees to rest your ribs between your thighs. Just a reminder, anytime you need to rest, you can come back here for a few breaths. Inhale, rise up to your hands and your knees, tabletop. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, look forward to your hands. You can bend the knees a little bit, bend the elbows a little bit. On your exhale, either step up to the top of your mat or lightly hop up to the top of your mat. Then bring your big toes together. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, chair pose. Bend your knees, float your arms up. Keep the weight back on your heels. Your sitting bones are reaching to the back of your mat. Front of the belly lifts. Exhale, hands through heart. And twist to the right. Hook your left elbow to your right knee. Look down, make sure your left knee is not poking forward. Slide the left hip back. Breathe in, lift your chest away from your legs. Breathe out, spin your heart towards the sky. One more deep breath in. Twist a little more, exhale. Inhale, chair pose. Exhale, prayer twist to the left, straight into the other side. Keep the weight on the heels, knees in one line. Lift your chest away from your legs and revolve your heart towards the sky. Nice strong arms, broad collarbones. One more inhale breath. Twist a little deeper, exhale. Inhale, chair pose. Stay low in the legs. Exhale, forward fold. You can pedal out the legs, not out your head. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, high plank. Remember, you can always drop the knees anytime you need. From your plank pose, shift forward so your shoulders are past your fingertips. Then bend your elbows to the back of your mat. Elbows touch the sides of your ribs. Shoulders no lower than elbows. If you notice the belly getting droopy here, then bring the knees down. Hug the belly in. Inhale, lift your chest to upward facing dog. Push into the tops of your feet. Lift your knees and thighs. Roll your shoulders back. Lift up to the crown of your head. Deep breath in. Downward facing dog, exhale. Full breath in through your nose. Audible exhale out through your mouth. Again, breathe in. Cleansing exhale through your mouth. Last one, inhale. Audible exhale. Inhale, lift your right leg high. Flex your toes to the floor. Exhale, knee to your nose. Bring your shoulders over your wrist, chin to your chest. Inhale, right leg high. Exhale, low lunge. Step your foot as close to your right hand as you can, so the stance is a little wider. Then bring your back heel to the floor. Inhale, warrior one. So both feet flat on the ground. Press strongly to the outer edge of your back foot. And spin your left inner thigh towards the back of the mat. That will help to bring the left hip forward, right hip back. Lift your pubic bone up towards your sternum. This will create a little bit more length in your lower back, a little bit more lift through your whole spine. Take one more inhale breath. Exhale and release your hands behind your back. Inhale, lift your chest, look up. Exhale, humble your warrior. Right shoulder comes inside of the right knee. Drop the crown of your head towards the floor and look at your back foot. Squeeze your right bottom cheek towards your left inner thigh. Keep the hips relatively square. Inhale brings you up, warrior one. Exhale, warrior two. And in these warriors, I like to get a little bit more fluid here. So for this warrior, I'll turn so I can see you, or you can see me rather. Let your hands drop down towards the earth a little bit. Get a little bit more soft in that back knee. Your hands will direct the flow of energy through your feet, lifting through the arches, lifting through the inner calves, lifting through the inner thighs. It almost feels like everything's pulling together. Then pull that energy up along the front of your spine. And exhale, bend into the front knee, open it up to the warrior two. So do that a couple of times. Inhale, reach down and pull that energy all the way up. Exhale, warrior two, bend the front knee as you open the arms. Two more times. Inhale, reach down and pull everything up. Exhale, warrior two. Last one, inhale. Exhale. And turn your front hand up towards the sky. Inhale, reverse warriors. Just a slight tilt back. Exhale, extended side angle. Bring your right forearm to your thigh. Top arm up towards the sky. And for today, we'll take a half bind. So the top arm comes behind the back. You can hold on to your t-shirt, the elastic of your pants, or you might even wiggle the fingers in and hold the inner thigh. Roll your top shoulder up by your ear and circle it down your back for more depth. Smooth out your breath. Take your gaze down towards your front foot and bring your right hand to your shin. Breathe in, think of lifting your chest. Exhale to straighten the front leg 99% of the way. So you still want a little bit of a micro bend so the front knee is soft. There's a lifting to the right quad. You've got that deep line of support through your feet, calves, inner thighs, and the front of your spine. For a little bit more core challenge, reach your front arm out. Like you've got a little cupcake in your right hand, you're offering it up. Breathe, smile, enjoy. Inhale brings you all the way up to stand. Turn your toes out, and then wrap your right arm underneath your left. So you've got your eagle arms. And bend into your knees. And just begin to sway side to side. The upper body sway and move. A little bit of free flowing here to open up the upper back, the shoulders, even get into the hips and low back. Any areas of interest or any places that your body starts to notice, send the breath there. And find your way to center with the knees a little bit more bent. And on the exhale breath, push through your feet. Lift up through the inner calves, inner thighs, inner belly. Legs start to straighten as you roll. On the inhale, let your heart lift and the elbows lift. Exhale to bend the knees. And shoulders are relaxed. Little pulses towards the floor for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Hold low here. Breathe. You can even close your eyes. Feel it from the inside out. Legs might start to shake a little bit. That's a good sign. Change. Transformation is happening. Inhale, straighten your legs, unravel the arms. Turn your toes forward. Exhale, fold to the floor. You can bend your knees, especially if you have tight hamstrings or tight lower back. Bent knees would be a little bit more forgiving. And just begin to bend into one leg and into the other and sway side to side. As you bend your knees, just be mindful that your kneecaps are pointing in the same direction as your toes. So if you have to turn the feet out a little bit, then do so to protect the joints. I'm just getting into the inner thighs a little bit. And find your way back to center. This is where a block or a book may come in handy. They'll place it underneath your left shoulder. Lift your chest halfway. Then place your left hand down to the floor or your block underneath the shoulder joint. So if you're up on the fingertips, you can turn the block up a little bit higher if you have one. And then reach your right arm up towards the sky. Soften the left knee a little bit so the pelvis is a little bit more twisted. Then wrap your top arm behind your back, find something to hang on to, your clothing or your leg. Then once you have that grip, start to straighten the leg out a little bit. Each inhale, reach through the crown of your head. Each exhale, push down into your bottom hand to help spin your chest to your right leg. Each inhale, lengthen. Exhale, twist. You can even get a little neck stretch here. Let your head drop down towards the floor. And start to move your chin around a little. Good, keep that half bind. If you're using a block, you can take it with you. But walk your foot or your left hand to your right foot and come into a low lunge. You're on the ball of your back foot. The right arm lifts up towards the sky. And you can stay right here, or you can flow kind of a variation of revolved triangle. So on the exhale, reach your top arm back, soften the back knee. Inhale, reach your arm forward and start to straighten everything as you lift it up towards the sky. It doesn't have to go straight. Exhale, reach back and bend. Inhale, reach forward and lift. One more time. Exhale, reach back. Inhale, forward and lift. Exhale, reach back and bring your knee and your hands to the floor. Walk your front foot outside of your hand. Let your hips melt towards the floor, coming into a runner's lunge. So with the alignment here, you just want to make sure your knee is not going past your ankle. You want it right above the ankle or a little bit behind. You can stay on your hands or come up to your block or your book, come up a little bit higher if this is too deep or too intense. For a little bit more, you might drop to your elbows, either on the block or the floor. Think of reaching your heart forward and up. Breathe for 3. 2 more breaths. And then rise up to your hands. Tuck your back toes. And step your right foot to meet the left. You're in a plank pose with your feet all the way together. We'll take it into a side plank. So for your side plank, you'll lift your right arm up towards the sky. Roll to the outer edge of the foot. You can modify a side plank by bringing your bottom knee towards the floor. You're pressing into the outer edge of the foot. If your wrist is bothering you at this point in class, bring your forearm to the floor. If you want a little bit more challenge and you're in your full plank, or wherever you are, lift the top leg. Be mindful that your toes are flexed. The big toe side of your foot is level with the floor. Breathe for 3, for 2. Plank pose on 1. Remember, you can drop the knees down on the floor anytime you need. On the exhale, bend the elbows, slowly come all the way down to the mat. Legs together. Interlace your fingers behind you. And squeeze your legs so much that your kneecaps start to lift. Inhale, raise your chest, reach your knuckles towards your heels. Press your pinky toenails into the floor. Inner thighs are spinning up. For a little bit more, raise your feet up. Each inhale, lift. Each exhale, stay where you are. One more breath in. Release on the exhale. Turn your head to the right. Take a few breaths into your upper back. Let your heels flop out to the sides. Then bring your chin to your mat. Walk your hands underneath your elbows. So they're kind of next to your wrists. There's the elbow joint is stacked over the wrist joint. For this first round, point your feet up towards the sky and cross the ankles. So we'll be pressing out to a low plank, but the knees will be on the floor, so it'll be a little less intense. The key to this is the breath. So start your exhale breath for a second or two, and then continue that exhale as you press up halfway. So breathe in, start your exhale, continue the exhale as you push in the hands coming halfway up. Inhale, straighten the arms. Exhale, bend the elbows. Inhale, straight. Exhale, bend. One more, inhale, straighten. Exhale, bend. Inhale, straight, uncross the feet, and press it back, downward facing dog. Nice deep breath in. Audible exhale to the mouth. Again, breath in. And let it go. One more, inhale. Exhale. We'll take it into the other side. Inhale, lift your left leg high. Exhale, knee to your nose. Hug the low belly, round the spine. Inhale, left leg high. Exhale, low lunge, stepping close to your left hand. Ground your back heel so the toes are angled about 45 degrees. Rise up, warrior one. You can even bring your hands to your hips as you find that alignment with your pelvis. Press the right hip slightly forward, left hip slightly back. And as you do that, you'll feel that back leg rotating inwards. Lift your pubic bone towards your heart. So a lot of core work here. Float your arms up towards the sky. And imagine you're hugging a big bubble. So that grip is a little bit softer so the bubble doesn't pop, but firm so that the bubble doesn't float away. Bend a little bit deeper into your front knee until the knee's over the ankle. Breathe in and lift, expand. Exhale, interlace your hands behind your back, crossing the other thumb and index finger on top. Inhale, lift your chest. Exhale, humble your warrior. So left shoulder inside of left knee. Crown of your head drops. Root down to the outer edge of your back foot without gripping your toes into the mat. So the toes are just resting lightly there. How can you surrender here into this posture? Working into the strength and the flexibility that it brings. Inhale, warrior one. Exhale, warrior two. You might have to adjust the feet a little bit. Front heel lines up with the arch of the back foot. And we'll flow these warrior twos so the hands come down, directing that flow of energy. Soften the back knee so both of your knees are soft and buoyant so that energy can flow a little bit more freely. Use the inhale breath to pull the energy up through the arches of the feet, through the inner calves, the inner thighs, through the front of the spine to the crown of your head. Exhale, bend your left knee as you open up the arms, warrior two. Inhale, reach down, pull that energy all the way up to the crown. Exhale, warrior two. Two more. Inhale, reach down, pull all the way up, expand the ribs open. Exhale, warrior two. Last one. Turn your left palm up to the sky. Inhale, reverse warrior. Nothing changes in the lower body. It's just the upper body tilting back into a little side bend. Exhale, extended side angle. For today, with the forearm on your thigh, you want a little bit of space there, like you could slide a little piece of paper. You're lifting up out of that left shoulder. Wrap your top arm behind your back. Find something to hang on to. Shrug your right shoulder up by your ear and then down your back for more space. Look over the left with the right shoulder to the sky, if that's okay on the neck. If not, look down at your foot. And take your left hand to your left shin. Stay here and breathe into your chest, thinking up dog. Exhale, straighten through the front leg 99% of the way. So there's a little softness in the back of the knee. We're not collapsing into the joint. We're lifting up out of the joints. Getting that opening for the top shoulder. And if you went for the balance or the core challenge on the other side, reach your left arm forward. Offering up that cupcake. Breathing 3. Breathing 2. Rise all the way up and up. Turn your toes out. This time it's the left arm on bottom. Raise the elbows up, inhale. Exhale, zigzag side to side as you start to sway and move. Opening up to the upper back, the shoulders, the hips. There's no right or wrong way how to move here. Just moving intuitively how your body wants to move. It's asking to move, to explore. Going gently and listening to any areas, any places that might spark pain. We want to move out of those or be soft and careful around those places. Find that space in the middle. Knees are bent a little bit. Exhale as you push down to the feet. Lift up to the low belly and roll up to stand. Inhale to lift your heart, lift your elbows. Exhale to bend the knees. Good. Press your knees back towards your pinky toes. Little pulses towards the floor for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Hold low on 1. Close your eyes. Feel your breath. Breathe into your strength, your power, the little shakes. For 3, for 2, and 1. Unravel, star pose, turn the toes forward, interlace your hands behind your back. Keep your tailbone pointing towards the floor, core strong. Breathe in and puff up your chest. Exhale, fold forward. Soften your knees any amount. And just notice if your body wants to be still here, then honor that. But if your body craves a little bit of movement, feel free to bend to one knee and then to the other, just kind of swaying side to side. You might find a little bit of a twist here with your chest turning towards the bent leg. And let your hands release down towards the ground. Inhale, halfway lift your chest. Either plant your right hand underneath your right shoulder on the floor, or use your block. Then reach your left arm up towards the sky. Wrap your arm behind your back and then find something to hang on to. And work on straightening that right leg out a little bit more. Revolve your heart towards the left. Each inhale, lengthen. Think up dog in your chest. Each exhale, spin and twist. Letting the pelvis go with the twist ever so slightly. You can get that neck stretch, let your head drop towards the floor, and move your chin around to explore, just see what's going on in there. Breathing deeply. In through the nose, out through the nose if that's available today. And if you're using the block, take it with you. Walk your hands towards your left foot, spin all of your toes to face forward. And then unravel the left arm up towards the sky. Either stay right here in this position or flow on the exhale. Reach the top arm back, soften the back knee. Let your spine come around. Inhale, reach your arm forward and start to lift. Start to straighten everything as much as it will go without any straining or pulling. Exhale, reach back, soften. Inhale, reach forward and lift, expand. Exhale, reach back. Inhale, lift and open. Exhale, reach back and drop everything to the floor. Taking it into your runner's lunge. Walk the left foot out. You might wiggle the right knee back. If this is really uncomfortable on your back knee, you can fold the mat over or put a blanket or a towel underneath that knee for some padding. Find a variation similar to what you did on the first side. So if you used a block, you came up a little bit higher, or if you drop down to the elbows. I want to work on creating balance and symmetry in the body as much as possible. Let your eyes focus on one spot, or even let your eyes close, bringing the gaze a little bit more internal. Three more breaths. Where can you soften and let go even just a little bit more? And then slowly rise up to your hands. Tuck your back toes, lift the knees, step back into your plank. Big toes together. Side plank with the left arm lifted. So we'll just turn so I can still see you. Left arm is up towards the sky. Full expression is here with you're on your bottom hand, hips are lifted. Modify by bringing the bottom knee down. Or for the elbow or for the wrist, come down to the forearm. Up level any of those variations by lifting the top leg. Breathe. Keep your hips stacked one on top of the other. 3, 2. Plank pose on 1. You can keep the knees lifted or drop the knees to the floor anytime. Then the elbows lower all the way down to your mat. Bend your knees. Reach for the outer edges of your feet. If this is not happening today, do this with straight legs. Fingers interlaced like we did in the first round. Inhale, lift your chest up. Exhale, kick your toes up towards the sky. Floor bow. Knees stay about hips width distance. Balance on the soft part of your belly as you breathe into your chest. Relax your neck, your jaw, your eyes. For 3, for 2, and 1, release. Turn your head to the left. If you want, you can even bend the knees and windshield wiper your feet side to side, relieving the low back. We're pressing up to the low plank and doing 3 push-ups again. This time, you have the option to do it from your knees again, or tuck the toes, keep your knees lifted so it will be full plank. So again, the breath is key. So when you go to press up, start the exhale for a second or 2 first, and then continue the exhale as you press up halfway. So start breathing, start the exhale, and then push up. Inhale, straighten the arms. Exhale, bend the elbows. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, bend. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, bend. Inhale, straighten. Downward facing dog, exhale. Lower down onto your knees. And release your fingers together. Roll out your wrists a little bit. Now let's spin a lot on the hands. And then squeeze out your forearms a little bit. Give yourself a little massage. Good, and then find your downward facing dog. Look at your hands. Bend your knees. Even bend the elbows to the back of the mat a little bit. On the exhale breath, step or hop up to the top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, mountain pose. Press all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart. We'll take a little bit of balance here. So start by rooting down through your left foot, then bring your right foot to your ankle. We'll start there. Keep your hips pointed straight forward, and work on pressing your right knee open. If this is enough, stay here. For more, slide your foot up to the inner calf or up to the inner thigh. The only place you don't want to put your foot is on the inner knee joint, so anywhere above or below the knee joint. Low belly lifts in and up. Shoulders melt together and down the back. Palms press firmly. And root down evenly through all 3 points in the bottom of your standing foot. So the big toe ball mount, the pinky toe ball mount, and the heel. And for an added challenge, hold the arms up overhead. And slowly begin to walk your gaze up the wall in front of you, to the ceiling, up to your hands. Notice how shifting balance or shifting your gaze affects the balance. Last 3. Last 2. Hands to heart. And then lower your foot down, shake out the legs. Shaking that side off. We have another side. So root down to the right foot, spread your toes out as wide as you can, and then bring your left foot up to the ankle, calf, or inner thigh, whatever you did on the first side. Again, hips are pointing forward. You're working on externally rotating that lifted leg. So you're pressing the outside of your left thigh into the wall behind you. Both ribs start to float away from your hips as you're rooting down from the belly button to the floor. Palms press firmly. Smooth, steady breath. Mind is here in the present moment. The moment it starts to wander off, we start to wiggle and wobble and lose the balance. That added challenge, pull the arms up overhead. And little by little, inch by inch, walk your gaze up the ceiling. Find a single focal point, your drishti. For 3, for 2, and for 1, bring your hands to heart, lower your foot, shake out the legs. All right, take your feet about as wide as your mat, turn your toes out, and lift up onto the balls of your feet. And for a slow exhale, start to bend the knees and come down to your frog. As you lower, keep pressing your knees back. Good. And come all the way down. And just for fun, we'll take it back up. Lift up onto the balls of your feet. Keep the knees pressing back behind you as you slowly press up. It's really strengthening the inner thighs here. Good. And lower the heels. And we'll take it back down. One last time. Lift the heels up. Bend the knees. Come down nice and slow. And then for an added challenge, stop in the hardest place for you. The place that you're like, ooh, I really want to rush through this. Stay there for 5. Let the legs shake for 4, for 3, for 2, and bring it down on 1. Good, so if you have really tight ankles or hips, you can use your block and sit on top of your block or your book or your pillow, whatever you have. Bring the feet out a little bit more in front and open up the knees, lift the chest. If you're okay in the frog, then stay here. Point your tailbone to the floor as you lift the crown of your head towards the sky. Roll your shoulders together and down your back so your heart is nice and lifted. Good, and you can stay right here in this flying frog, or we take it into, or rather, frog, or we take it into flying frog or crow pose if you have that in your practice. So for flying frog, it's a little bit lower. The elbows are going to bend out towards the sides. Keep the middle fingers forward as the elbows bend out. I like to bring the elbows right into that crease between the calf and the thigh. Roll your shoulders back. It's like you're a little turtle coming out of your shell. Then lift your chin, look out in front of you. Shift your weight into your fingertips. And press into your hands, hollow out your belly, and squeeze your knees into your elbows. So notice how my elbows start to stack over my wrists once again. And play with lifting one foot, set it down, try the other foot. And over time, you might lift both of your feet. Breathing 3, breathing 2. And come back down on 1. Stretch out the wrists, roll them out. Good. So for this next one, we're moving into birds of paradise. So grab your props, your block, and your strap if you have one. And come into a forward fold. So lift your bottom up, let your head drop down, and even here you can kind of sway side to side, settle back in. And then breaking this into little bite-sized pieces. So stay at whatever layer your body needs to stay at. We'll start with a block in front of the right foot. Plant your hand on your block. Remember, the block has a couple different sides. If you are really tight in your forward fold and you're on the fingertips, you can turn the block up a little higher. You can bend your knees, whatever you need to, so that you can get that full extension in your spine. You're not rounding here. And take your left arm up towards the sky into a twist. So this is layer 1. You can bend into that right knee, let the pelvis go with the twist a little. Wrap your top arm behind your back, find something to hang on to. We've been working this quite a bit. You can stay right here. Or take your right hand between your legs. And then wrap your arm around the outside. So the hand twists a little bit, your knuckles will touch the outside of your leg. And then hook onto your fingertips. So from the side, you're wrapping around, hooking the outside of the thigh. If your hands don't quite touch, this is where you can use your strap or towel or whatever you have. It will help to bridge the gap. You can work on staying here in this twisted forward bend. Play with straightening the legs out a little bit, lifting the chest and spinning the heart up. You might even explore pointing the crown of the head down towards the floor and straightening the top arm. It's a lot to explore. Breathe into. And if you're taking it into the full balance, walk your left foot in a little bit more so your ankle is right underneath your hip. Come up onto the ball of your right foot, and then your toes. Push into the left foot to lift up through your belly, engage the core, and start to rise into the balance. Good, chest nice and lifted. You can keep that leg bent, or work the leg a little bit straighter. Roll your shoulders back. Press to the standing foot. Smile, breathe. 3, 2, and 1. Bring it back down to your forward fold. Release your grip. Shake out the shoulders. Let out your head. Good, and then we'll switch sides. Take the block in front of your left foot. Left hand under your block. Right arm reaches up towards the sky. You can bend the left knee a little bit. Find your half bind. Reach for the fingertips behind, for the thigh behind you. For that full bind, take your left arm between your legs and hook your fingers outside of the thigh. Stay here for a few breaths. With the crown of your head towards the floor, work on straightening the right arm. Play with straightening the legs. Notice how breath is affected in this twist. You're all bound up like a little pretzel. Might be a little bit harder to breathe, but can you soften, surrender, and find ease in the discomfort? And if you're going for that balance, walk your right foot in a little closer. Come up onto the ball of the left foot, and then the toes. Push down into your right foot. Feel that lift, the inner calf, the inner thigh, that lift in your belly to float the left leg up. Roll the shoulders back, puff up the chest. For even more, work the leg a little bit straighter. Breathing 3. Breathing 2. And gently release it down on 1. Release your hands, shake out your shoulders. A few audible exhales. Move the props out of the way. And then find your downward facing dog. Inhale, lift your right leg high. Exhale, half pigeon. Bring your right knee behind your right wrist. And then slide the left leg back. Hands by your hips, puff up your chest. And then slide your right hip back, left hip forward. You can make this less intense the closer your front heel is in by your left hip. More intense the more you wiggle the foot out and bring the shin parallel to the top of the mat. If there's a lot of space between your hips and the floor, put a block under there. And once you've found that sweet spot, walk the hands out in front and rest. If your forehead doesn't comfortably touch the ground, then stack your hands one on top of the other, or put another block or a pillow underneath your forehead. Set yourself up so that you're comfortable and ready to relax. Letting everything go. Take 5 more deep breaths. And slowly rise up to your hands. Tuck your back toes. Use the strength of your core to lift your leg off the ground and send the right leg up and back. And then find some movement here. You might roll the ankle, bend, straighten the leg, or make some big circles with your hip. And then set your right foot down and lift your left leg up. Exhale, half pigeon, knee behind the wrist. Slide your right leg back. Puff up your chest like a proud little pigeon. Then find your square hips, right hip forward, left hip back. You can even tuck the back toes and inch your knee back a little further to settle in. Rock your hands out in front. Keep your front foot flexed towards your shin. It will help protect the knee. Use any props on this side that you need so you can fully relax into the posture. The safer your body feels here in the pose, the more benefits you'll receive from the posture. Count 5 more deep breaths. And slowly rise to your hands. Tuck your back toes. Push into your hands, lift through your belly, and hover the leg. Use the core, send the leg up and back, and find some movement here. Anything that your body needs to help counter that posture. And bring your knees down to the floor. Again, roll out the wrists a little bit. And we'll take camel pose here. So come up to standing on your knees. separate your knees about hips width distance. So if you're using like a standard size block, use that block between your thighs. That will give you a nice spacing between your knees. If you don't have the block, take your 2 fists right between your knees, and that will give you a good idea of where about they should be. If you've got the block, it just helps to teach that internal rotation of the legs. So it's like you're squeezing your block and trying to press it behind you. It'll give you a little bit more room in your low back. Then bring your hands to your imaginary pants pocket, so closer to your bottom. Use your hands as a reminder to reach your tailbone to the floor or to the block. Lift upwards to the pubic bone. Elbows slightly together, open up to your chest. Nice deep breath, lift your heart higher, lift up. For more, exhale and walk your gaze along the ceiling. Imagine that there's a big beach ball underneath your lower back, and you're trying to curve up over that ball. Over time, you might be able to reach back for your heels. If it's too far of a stretch, but you're almost there, you can tuck your toes so you're not quite as deep. If you feel dizzy or nauseous, bring your chin closer to your chest, lengthen the back of your neck. Breathe into the front of your heart for 3, for 2, and 1. Hands to the low back as you come up. Remove the block if you're using it, and take a seat. You can sit in stillness for a few breaths. Or if you really need to move, then start to round and arch your back in some little circles. Good. Another back bend coming up here. We'll take it into bridge pose. So lie all the way down onto your back. If you've got the block, use it. Take your block in between your thighs. If you don't have one, no worries. Just keep your feet hips width. Keep your knees hips width. Inhale to push down into your heels and lift your hips. You can keep your hands by your sides or interlace your fingers together. And then ever so gently tuck the shoulders under. A little less than you would think, so you're not being too aggressive. Back of your head rests on the floor. There's that natural arch in the back of your neck. Keep your head neutral so you're looking up towards the ceiling. Each inhale, lift your chest up towards your chin. Each exhale, push through your heels and squeeze your block. If you don't have the block, just imagine your inner thighs rolling towards the floor. So working internal rotation in the legs and the back bends. One more deep breath in. And deep breath out. Release your hands, roll down so your tailbone is the last thing that touches the floor. And remove your block. Open up your arms to a T. Widen your feet a little bit so they're as wide as your mat. And let your knees just tick-tock side to side. Really gently. You can let your head start to get involved, so the head turns opposite of the knees. And bring your knees into your chest. Give yourself a little squeeze. And rock and roll forward and back. Come on up to a seated position. And bring your legs out in front. So we'll take a forward fold, so kind of counter all that back bending. If when you're seated, you notice that you're kind of dumping into the low back, or it's really difficult just to sit up, sit on top of your block, your pillow, a blanket, whatever you have, just to elevate your hips a little bit. Keep the knees soft. And if your pelvis is a bowl of soup, imagine you're trying to spill your soup out to the front. So you've got that little arch there. Hold on to the outer edges of your feet. Inhale, lift your belly off of your thighs. And burst your heart forward, so you're getting along in the low back. Exhale to lower your belly, your chest, your head over the legs. And if your hamstrings give you permission, you might slide the heels out a little further. Inhale, lift your belly, your chest. Reach your heart to your toes. Exhale, lower belly, chest, and hips. It's like you're doing the worm here to find more length and depth. Inhale, roll up. Reach your heart forward. Exhale, lower belly, chest, and head. You can do that as many times as you like till you find that sweet spot in your forward fold. And once you've found it, stay here and breathe a few cycles, opening up the back line of the body. Flex your toes towards the crown of your head, helping to lengthen your calves. Breathe deeply into your lower back. And slowly roll yourself up. Remove anything that you're sitting on and lie back down. Bring your knees into your chest, a little squeeze here, rock side to side. So if you ever experience low back pain, this is a really great position to come into. Just after a long day, sitting at the computer or driving, just lie on your back, rock side to side. And take this into a twist. Extend your left leg out long, interlace your fingers around your right shin, squeeze your knee up towards your armpit. Open up your right arm out to a T, and then guide your knee over your body towards the left. I personally like to lift the hips and move them back to the middle of the mat. Look towards the extended arm, your right hand. Take a nice deep breath into your belly. And squeeze the breath out, exhale. Just one more time, breathe in. And let it go. And bring your knees into your chest. Little squeeze. And extend your right leg out long. Squeeze your left knee into your left armpit. Exhale, twist. Left arm out. Slide the hips to the left a little bit as the knee moves to the right. And look to the left, continuing the twist through your neck. Nice deep breath into your belly. Exhale to twist and rinse. Surrender as deeply as possible, letting breath and gravity do the work for you. Last deep inhale. Cleansing exhale. Bring your knees into your chest. Nice little squeeze here. You can bring your forehead up to your knees. And release into your final Shavasana. Take up as much or as little room as you like. I like to tuck the shoulder blades underneath, offering a little lift for the heart. Chin lowers, lengthen the back of the neck. Let your whole body rest, relax, and receive the benefits of your practice. Stay here for as long as you need. Returning back into life, normal life, feeling a little bit more rested, rejuvenated, and open. Until next time, yogis, namaste.